Okay, so what the heck is going on with Asta's new Devil Union mode with him and Lieb, the quote-unquote mastered, or I guess you could say just the fused form between the two, Asta using his devil powers to, for the most part, what is supposed to be its potential, but obviously there's still levels to this, because one of the things that with chapter 283 of Black Clover, which it was very, very short chapter, like it was, you know, you read it and 2 seconds later, ba-boom! But one of the things that really stuck out to me was the fact that within the first couple of pages, Asta's Devil Union mode ran out already, and it was said that it was supposed to have, I think it was, what, 5 minutes, a 5-minute lifespan of being able to use it, and it was even said in the chapter that it was shorter than predicted, so even less than 5 minutes is the amount of time that Asta's Devil Union form has to be active, and that says a lot. That says a lot about the form, that says a lot about where we're going with the form and Asta and Lieb and their union as a whole, so there's a lot to say there. Also, just the battles as a whole. To be honest with you, I felt like 283 for the most part was a very small advancement, but I think Asta's Devil Union is a big deal, ever since especially 282, where everybody was just either tearing it up or praising it, one or the other. But yeah, without further ado, people, let's talk a little bit of that Black Clover greatness. Damn, you know, less than 5 minutes to be great. Let's do it.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
So Black Clover 283 starts off where the last one left off. Asta just finished slaying one of the ancient demons, and he did it with seemingly ease. And it seems as though one of the things, at the very least where we're at right now with Asta's Devil Union mode with Lieb, is that it offers tremendous strength. The speed is good. It doesn't seem like the speed is like ridiculous, because even in the chapter it said that when he's talking about like, oh yeah, let's go to the Spade Nation, that it'll still take forever even in the Devil Union form. So it seems as though it has like really good speed, but not speed up to the point of like feeling as if it's, you know, instant transmission or something like that. So we got good strength or enormous strength, decent speed. The problem with it is that time limit. It's ridiculous. It reminds me of like in Dragon Ball Z, for example, Fusion. Fusion had 30 minutes though. This shit, less than 5 minutes. That is very, very bad and very, very telling. And one of the major things that tells me is the fact that it's definitely incomplete. There's going to be another transformation for Asta and Lieb with this Devil Union. Maybe it'll be called Perfected Devil Union. Whatever the case may be, this is not the end of it. We're going to have a new design at some given point as well, because again, not everybody was satisfied with the last week's big reveal of the Devil Union form, but also, again, 5 minutes, like, yo fam, I mean, that makes it a little bit interesting, like, okay, you know, Asta gotta get it done really quick, less than 5 minutes at that, with whatever battle, but then at the same time, it also feels like, you know, a rush, and again, that just makes it that this is a very incomplete form. If you got less than 5 minutes, and then blam, you split, and you're weakened, and we don't know how long it takes for him to be able to go back into the Devil Union form, that's a problem. I mean, don't get me wrong, it did damage, and I think that's the main trade-off of it, like, it did freaking damage. It took down the ancient demon like it was nothing. And I'm also wondering, you know, after this chapter and even the last chapter, if like Noct is already knocked out or even potentially close to death or dead. I'd say he's not dead yet. I think at this particular point though, Noct is probably off camera, has been like knocked off, so to speak. Like he is probably knocked out or severely injured to the point of like near death's door, because the way Gimodello has been talking for a while now, again, last chapter and this chapter, there's something going on with Noct, because Gimodello says without Noct I can't teleport, you know, long distances, and especially even if he was here now, he wouldn't be able to, and it's starting to add more and more hints that Noct is really probably down bad and messed up from the fight against those two devils of the highest order. So something is going on really wrong with Noct based on all the little breadcrumbs that Gimodello has dropped, and I'm really curious to see what's going on with Noct the next time we cut to him, because again, it's been a couple of chapters now since we've seen him, and I can only imagine the worst if Gimodello continues this. I mean, I guess there's another alternative of maybe, again, they're pulling the wool over everyone's eyes, because Gimodello's really stressing hard body that Nocta's time is running out, like Noct is about to be, you know, gone. Then following that conversation, Lieb suggests to Asta, yo, why don't we just use the Demon Slayer to fly over there, which probably makes the most sense, and also makes me wonder, because again, we don't know exactly how long it takes for them to be able to go into the Devil Union form. Like, is it a 5-minute buffer, 10-minute buffer, or whatever? But when Lieb was like, yo, use the Demon Slayer so we could keep on moving, does that mean that throwing the Demon Slayer is quicker than the Devil Union form as far as like flight and, you know, mobility? Because if that's the case, again, like, yeah, I'm sure it's fast, the Devil Union form, but we know, or we got a good idea of how fast it really is. And then when the squad arrived, we just saw the footsteps of them in front of Asta. That was something else that had me a little bit puzzled. Like, was that the same squad that we saw at the end of the chapter of, you know, Noelle and all of those people, and they showed up in front of Asta? Was that some different people? Maybe that was just like the other members of the Black Bulls, or who the heck was that was in front of Asta? Again, maybe I'm just like missing the ultimate breadcrumb that tells you exactly what's going on, because it seems to be the case that those were the same people that we see later on in the end of the chapter that showed up in front of Asta, but we didn't see, to my knowledge, a picture of Asta with them at the end of the chapter. So I'm assuming that those are the people, but again, it could have been some members of the remaining members of the Golden Dawn, or it could have been some of the Black Bull members. Tabata, what's your problem with Manga? Why no Zora? What are you doing, fam? Like, do they exist still? Have they been written out of the manga? Kind of reminds me of, if any of you ever seen the TV series Family Matters, you know, Steve Urkel, how they had like a little sister, and in one episode they told her to go upstairs, and after that you never saw her again because she was written out the show. Maybe that's what happened to Magna and Zora. They were sent to their room. And then throughout the remainder of the chapter, we see how basically, like in the Spade Nation, how all these devils are just ravaging, and there's just a ton of carnage and destruction going on. So you're getting an idea of like, yo, things is going really, really bad. Like, there's not really much of a W in sight. Even if Asta just took down one of the ancient demons, and of course Mario Leona's been fighting one of the ancient demons, there's still a horde of them that are just destroying everywhere. And I mean, I guess some of the moments with Baja himself was a little bit funny with Voltos and them, and they're trying to hide from the demons and shit like that. So there was a little bit of comedic moments, but I'll be honest with you, throughout this chapter I kind of felt like it felt a little unfocused, very, very quick. I mean, there was some double spreads and shit, but it felt very, very quick and kind of just unfocused. Like, it didn't have like one particular centric part. I think the only main thing that was kind of focused on in this chapter was the appearance of the squad at the end of the chapter, but it just kind of felt a little bit like fluff, because then even at a given point we see Fuego Leon, he's helping out in the Spade Nation. He's like, even though we live in different nations, it doesn't mean that we want, you know, destruction. We can work together. And you see him using like his flame dragon and shit like that. So we see a wide variety of people doing different things, but there wasn't overall like a goal in this one. And again, I think the advancement of seeing Noelle, and you know, we even got to see the spirit guardians of the Heart Kingdom and shit like that was like the biggest thing of the chapter, because we see, they say the numbers of the demons just continue to grow, so that means that they're pouring out in hordes, which I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of a fan of that. It gives you like a Walking Dead type of vibe, or I keep on referring throughout this arc of like the Demon World, you know, Shinobu Sensory arc of Yu Yu Hakusho, where Demon World started crossing over and all the demons was coming through. That kind of feels like this, because then when Baja and Voltos are there scared to death, we get a shot of like a magic spell goes by them, and we see Noelle, Nero, Luck, Patri, Mimosa, the Heart Kingdom mages, Charmy, Leopold, a slew of people there arriving on the battlefield. So I'm imagining that Tabata's gonna give us a little bit of action with each of them, with like a lot of these smaller demons that are coming through and shit like that. But as a whole, I think the biggest thing for me, aside from that advancement of them showing up and Noelle's back on the battlefield and stuff like that, was really giving us an idea of there needs to be more training and more advancement for Asta. The growth is not done. Just because we got the Double Union, it's less than 5 minutes that they have to be in that form. And I guess with this one, I want to pass the question off to you guys. What do you think about Asta's Double Union mode with Lieb thus far? How do you feel about it being seemingly imperfect at the very least at the moment? What do you think of the chapter as a whole, 283, the squad lineup? And was that the same people that showed up in front of Asta at the end of the chapter as well, Noelle and them? Or was that a different group of people? And your overall thoughts and expectations for Black Clover 284. Unfortunately, there's no chapter this coming week, which is a real bummer, because again, this chapter wasn't the biggest or craziest or anything like that, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't admire that squad lineup at the end, especially Gaja. He looked like really badass and angry, and you know, of course, he's on a war path right now to get Loro Pachico back. And your overall thoughts and expectations. Can't freaking wait for the next chapter. Bummer that we don't got one this upcoming week. So all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life. Bye. Have an awesome day. Peace in. And yo, things is continuing to get tense with this freaking Demon World chaos invasion insanity. Have an awesome one.